$2 billion, completely invisible, and carrying 40,000 pounds of destruction. That's what showed up uninvited over Iran's Untouchable mountain fortress. And the craziest part, they never saw it coming, not even for a second. So picture this deep inside Iran's Alborz Mountains. There's this massive underground complex. We're talking miles of tunnels carved straight through solid bedrock, reinforced with concrete so thick it makes bank vaults look like cardboard. And buried inside all that, Iran's entire ballistic missile arsenal, ready to launch at a moment's notice. Now, here's the thing. Their strategy was actually pretty smart on paper. Bury everything 200 feet underground, where no conventional weapon can reach it. Wait for enemy jets to fly over, pop out, launch your missiles, then disappear back into the mountain like nothing happened. For years, Pentagon planners were literally losing sleep over this place. They'd stare at satellite images, run simulations, and keep hitting the same wall. Drop a regular bomb on this mountain and you're basically just giving the rocks a makeover. These bunkers sit under hundreds of feet of pure granite, deeper than most skyscrapers are tall. Okay, but hold up. Doesn't America basically own the sky at this point? Why not just send in a squadron of F-15s and call it a day? Well, that's where things get messy real quick. Sure, most of Iran's air defense network had already been knocked out by this point in the conflict, but scattered across the country. Rogue S-300 missile batteries were still hiding, just waiting for something to shoot at. And for any fighter pilot, one unlucky radar lock from a hidden launcher means you're done, just like that. Nobody at the Pentagon was about to risk American lives and $100 million jets on a coin flip. So what do you send when even your best fighters can't get in safely? You send a ghost, specifically the B-2 Spirit, a $2 billion aircraft that radar literally cannot see. This thing was built from the ground up for exactly this kind of impossible mission. While other planes got to dodge missiles and outrun radar, the B-2 just cruises through enemy airspace like it owns the place. It flies way up in the stratosphere, completely invisible to every defense system on the ground. Alright, let's get into how this whole thing actually went down, because this is where it gets intense. Middle of the night, 4 B-2 bombers quietly rolled out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri and headed east. That's a 6,000 nautical mile journey one way, crossing the entire Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. This cruise had to refuel mid-air multiple times just to keep the mission going. But here's the catch: before the B-2s could get anywhere close, somebody had to blind the enemy first. EA-18 Growlers went in ahead of them, flooding Iranian radar screens with pure electronic chaos. At the same time, fighter jets were hunting down every surface-to-air missile site they could find. The whole point was simple: make Iran's entire defense network go completely dark. And it worked exactly as planned. The B-2s slipped through Iranian airspace without a single blip on any screen. Now we're getting to the actual strike. And honestly, this is where things get wild. But right as those bombers reached their target coordinates, one of the pilots noticed something that made his blood run cold. A faint radar signature popped up on his display. An S-300 battery they somehow missed. And it was powering up for about 15 seconds. These pilots genuinely thought the whole mission might be blown. But then the signature vanished. The Growlers had caught it just in time and fried its electronics. With that close call behind them, the bomb bay doors swung wide open. They didn't just drop one massive bomb and hope for the best. That's not how precision warfare works. Instead, they released dozens of GPS-guided bunker busters in a carefully calculated sequence. Each bomb was programmed to hit at the exact angle needed to collapse those massive reinforced blast doors. They targeted ventilation shafts, structural weak points, anything that would trap those missiles inside permanently. Now, let's talk about the weapons themselves, because this stuff is genuinely mind-blowing. The workhorse bomb was the BLU-109, a 2,000-pound monster designed specifically to punch through reinforced concrete. But for the really deep targets, they pulled out the big gun, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. This beast weighs 30,000 pounds and can smash through 200 feet of reinforced concrete before it even detonates. What makes the BLU-109 clever is how the ground crews configure the fuses before takeoff. They can set a nose fuse for instant surface explosion, or a tail fuse that delays the boom. With the delayed fuse, the bomb punches clean through the concrete first, then explodes deep inside the bunker. The timing is insane. It counts down just milliseconds after penetration, then triggers a 500-pound payload. It literally rips the target apart from the inside out. And here's the kicker. Each bomb costs just $4,000. Okay, so you might be wondering, how does a $2 billion aircraft actually stay invisible? Most planes have those vertical tail fins sticking up that bounce radar signals right back to the source. The B-2 has zero vertical surfaces anywhere on the entire aircraft, which sounds impossible, but it's real. Instead of tail fins, they use split drag rudders built right into the wing edges for steering. But the real magic is in the materials this thing's made of. The leading edges use fiberglass epoxy that scatters radar signals in random directions instead of bouncing them back. The main body is graphite epoxy, crazy lightweight but strong enough to handle extreme stress. And coating the whole thing is classified radar-absorbing material that the Air Force still won't discuss publicly. Here's something that'll blow your mind about what this aircraft can actually haul. From the outside, the B-2 doesn't even look that massive, kind of like a giant flying wing. But crack open those bomb bays and you can fit 80 Mark 82 bombs. That's 40,000 pounds of pure ordnance. All of it hidden inside something that looks like it flew straight out of a sci-fi movie. Depending on the mission, they can also load 16 cruise missiles that basically fly themselves to the target. Those missiles extend their own wings after launch and can cruise 230 miles to hit whatever they're aimed at. That means the bomber doesn't even have to get close to deliver total destruction. Let's zoom out for a sec and look at what this whole operation actually accomplished. This B-2 strike was just one piece of a massive 72-hour assault on Iran's entire military infrastructure. By the time the dust settled, American forces had destroyed roughly 200 hardened targets across the region. Underground bunkers, missile storage facilities, command centers, nothing survived. And the precision on these strikes was surgical. This ain't World War II carpet bombing. Every single bomb was GPS guided with satellite precision, accurate down to about a meter. Guidance computers constantly adjusted 4 steering fins on each bomb, correcting the flight path every single second. That's exactly why B-2s fly so high. The bombs need that altitude to have time to steer themselves perfectly. Now let's really think about what happened here. Iran spent 20 years carving out those mountain bunkers, pouring billions into what they believed was an untouchable fortress. They looked at that 200 feet of solid rock and concrete and figured nothing on Earth could possibly reach their missiles. Then, in one single night, 4 aircraft flying from 6,000 miles away proved every single assumption wrong. Those missiles they spent billions protecting now permanently buried under their own collapsed mountain. When you've got a $2 billion ghost hauling 40,000 pounds of precision-guided destruction, and that ghost can fly 6,000 miles while staying completely invisible to every radar system on the planet. It fundamentally changes how every country on Earth has to think about protecting their most valuable assets. 20 years to build, 1 night to destroy. That's modern air power. But here's the question nobody's really asking: if bunkers 200 feet underground aren't safe anymore, what's actually left that can hide from something like the B-2? And with the next generation B-21 radar already in production, that question's about to get a whole lot more uncomfortable.